Hi everyone, I'm here with one of the greatest, or the greatest expert in back pain. I'm here with Stuart McGill. Thank you, Prof, for being here with me. It's such a pleasure and such an honor to have you with me to answer a couple of questions that I had for you and share it with my audience. Thank you, first of all.
Well, thank you, Marcello. Good morning to you, or I guess in Italy it's good afternoon.
Yes, something like that. And the first question, first a little background. You have published multiple books, and one book is specific for the patients. That is back mechanics, and in Italian is Le meccaniche della schiena, and it's a book that I strongly advise to my patients because it contains a lot of stuff that you can do for your back pain. It's the foundation of your method. But you did a lot of academic research. How many papers did you publish?
Well, over 250, I think it was, in peer-reviewed medical and scientific journals, but numerous pieces in other forums, government documents, and those kinds of things.
So when you talk about back pain, you know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, I have to let you answer that.
Okay, the first question that I had for you was about the importance of exercise in comparison of manual therapy. So in Italy, like in all the rest of the world, many therapists propose to their patients only manual therapy, which is massage, chiropractic, osteopathic manipulation, and rarely propose a scientific plan of exercise. But what is your opinion? In your opinion, the importance of the movement and exercises plan versus the importance of manual therapy, massage, and all the passive therapies?
Well, there are several aspects to consider in creating an answer there, Marcello. The first one is all back pain has a cause. So people can look at themselves and say a certain posture, a certain load, a certain activity triggers their back pain. So they might say sitting in my car triggers my back pain, or working in the garden triggers my back pain. Some people say sitting down at the computer takes my back pain away, and when I go for a walk, it causes my pain. And the next person says sitting at the computer gives me back pain, and going for a walk takes it away. So my point is, in every one of those cases, they can figure out the cause in terms of specific motions, postures, and loads. So to take back pain away, you have to remove the cause. And it means moving in a way that you don't trigger that specific kind of back pain, and then adapt your body to create a resilience so you're robust against that trigger. The problem with passive therapies is they do not address the person's cause. They may be analgesic, but they don't address the cause.
They don't change the movement.
That's the first part of the answer. You're trying to adapt a body that is resilient to the mechanical demands, and you do that through very cleverly developed exercise programs. The second part of the answer is more general in terms of the term you used, good movement. Think of this. Think of all of the systems in the body. Every single one of them requires good movement for optimal health. So I'm going to start off with a vitamin. Let's take a fat-soluble vitamin like vitamin D. If you are vitamin D deficient, you're sick. So you get out in the sun, you eat fish or whatever it is you're going to do as a supplement, and you increase your health. But if you take too much vitamin D, it becomes a poison. In other words, there is a optimum. There is a tipping point for optimal health, and so it is with good movement. Your teeth require a certain amount of load to be healthy, otherwise they will fall out. Your muscles, your cardiac response, your hormonal system, your psychology, all requires good movement for optimal health, not too little and not too much. So the spine is exactly the same. Some people have far too much. They train far too heavy and they are in pain. Others don't train enough and they are in pain. So what's enough? It depends on the demands of your body. If you have very low demands, then you just might need some fine tuning in what is good movement for you. But the next person, they sit on the toilet and get up and it causes them back pain. Getting in and out of their car causes back pain, and yet they can deadlift 200 kilo. So they're violating the movement patterns, what we call good movement, to be resilient for pain. So there's several aspects to that question, but you can't argue with the fact that good movement stops the cause and it causes your body to adapt so that it's resilient and high performing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So this is why I keep on speaking about the importance of active movement and exercise, and not relying only on passive therapies that, like you said, can be analgesic, but they can't change the way the way you move, the way your muscles move your spine. Do you agree with this?
Well, yes. On occasion, though, it's interesting how sometimes I've had some athletes, for example, who are just getting ready for a competition, and a little manual therapy, perhaps some very skilled hands, not to massage generally, that would loosen everything, but to strategically massage and loosen a part, or acupuncture has, for a very short period of time, changed their pain, which allows them to do appropriate therapeutic exercise. So sometimes you can create a window for the adaptations that come with exercise through certain passive therapies. But I agree with you. If the approach is only passive therapies, the efficacy in our work shows it isn't there. You will become a repeat customer on passive therapies.
Yeah, thank you. And the second question I had to you is about episodic back pain. I deal with many patients and users, online users, who has episodic back pain. Maybe now they're not in pain, but maybe they do something, or maybe they know that they will have pain in the future because 3 or 4 times a year they have back pain. Is there anything that we can do to prevent back pain when we have, when we don't have back pain, but when we are back pain sufferers?
Well, I can give you two levels of evidence to start that answer. We did a study on people who build cars. It happened to be Chrysler car parts, and also hydro linemen. These are linemen who climb hydro poles to do repairs and that kind of thing. At the time of our studying them, none of them had back pain. And almost half of them had episodic back pain. They would have a couple of episodes a year where they'd have to take some time off work. And then the other ones never had disabling back pain. Then we measured their health profile, various fitness parameters, and then the way that they moved. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the ones who never had back pain were stronger than the ones who had episodic debilitating pain?
Or no, because once upon a time you told me that strength is not an efficient measure for back pain, because you can produce strength, but since you are very strong, you can give too much load to your spine.
Right, that's exactly correct. So what both of those studies showed was that those with stronger backs, when they moved heavy car parts, like wheels and that kind of thing that would weigh 40 or 50 kilos in some cases, those who had stronger backs used their backs even more. Those who had not stronger but more endurable backs lifted with more movement at their hips and less movements at their spine. So throughout the day, the ones who moved better used their hips and not their backs, and they had far less incidence of episodes of back pain, even though on the day that we tested them, none of them had back pain. So that's the first part of my answer. Then I'll go to the clinical evidence, where we've had people who come in and say, I have terrible episodes of back pain. I turn a certain way and I get back pain, or I sneezed and I caused back pain and I was in bed for 3 days, or I bent down and picked up a pencil and I had terrible back pain for a week and then it went away. We have shown them what we call movement hacks, how to move. We have movement tools, as you know, in our book, Back Mechanic, with the short stop squat, as we call it, the lunge, the stop twist, all of these various movement tools where we employ spine hygiene. And if the person can employ spine hygiene, I have absolute proof that some of those people who were successful never had another back episode again, not once. Others, it was very transforming for them. Can you imagine you're bending forward to flush the toilet and it feels as though someone shoved a knife in your back? That gives some patients and some clients PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Psychologically, they're a victim. They never know when someone is going to shove a knife into their back, and they become paralyzed to move. So what we do is we show them what the mechanism of that acute attack is, and then we give them a method to move around that particular cause. Now, psychologically, this is very empowering to them because we just change them from being a victim to being a knowledgeable person. So the next time they make a mistake and they do have an episode of back pain, they can say, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I know it's going to get better, and I know the movement mistake I made that caused it. It's very empowering. I will not make that mistake again. I'm going to be more conscious, and away they go. So it's a very psychologically and physically empowering approach.
Okay, so we can say that the spinal hygiene that you teach can prevent further episodes of back pain. Even if you do your spinal hygiene when you don't have back pain, is anyway a good idea. You don't have to move well only when you have pain, but you have to move well every time.
Well, that's true, and we've tried that with different occupational groups as well, and the incidence of back pain decreases.
Okay. So, Prof, thank you for being with me, and above all, thank you for all the massive amount of work that you did, for the massive contribution that you made to the clinical research on back pain. Thank you for being with me.
Well, it's my pleasure, Marcello. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.